Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Holly and this is my BookTube channel. I talk about books, reading, all things in that realm, so if that's up your alley, make sure to stick around. So, first things first, a little bit of housekeeping items. Why am I sitting on the floor? Why do my bookshelves look like a train wreck? Well, lots of reasons. First reason being, I'm sitting in a room where my husband and we originally had two different rooms in the house for our hobbies, I guess you could say. He had one room with all of his hunting and fishing equipment and, you know, all the guy things, right? He had his little man cave. And then I had my room, which was my little home office / library. We had our separate rooms, right? Well, I'm sitting in the room where those two rooms are now combined because we needed to open up another room for a nursery. That's right, I am pregnant. I am almost 16 weeks pregnant, so about at the 4-month mark, and so excited. We know that it's a little girl and she should be here sometime in March. So we are super excited, but that is the reason that this room looks like a horror show and my shelves are all over the place, because we had to hastily combine our two hobby rooms into one room to start working on the nursery. So I have not organized my shelves. Everything's kind of in shambles, but all for a good reason. We're very excited. So far, it's been a really blessed pregnancy. I have been super lucky to not have any nausea, no throwing up, no feeling sick. I have felt really healthy and really good so far these 4 months of pregnancy. So I realize that is not very common, and I am very blessed, and I hope the rest of the pregnancy is just as smooth as the first half. That is also why I have been drinking decaf tea instead of coffee lately, because when I found out I was pregnant, I ditched the caffeine, ditched the coffee, which wasn't as hard as I thought. And so now we're back to drinking tea. So if you don't already have some coffee or tea or snack, whatever strikes your fancy, go grab some and let's jump into this video. I should also mention I'm not mic'd up like I usually am, so if the sound quality is a little lower, I apologize. Like I said, the room is in shambles still and I cannot find my little shirt mic and the battery that goes with it, so I'm just hoping that the camera audio is picking up my voice clearly. So I saw a recent book tag video. It's like an autumn fall book tag video, and it is originally by the Book Bell, and it's just quick 10 questions, and I'm gonna answer them basically in this video. And the 10th question, I'll spoiler alert it here, is what is on your fall reading list. So that's gonna be the, I guess, bulk of this video, is getting through the questions quickly and then showing you all what is on my fall reading list for this year. The first question is, what book always reminds you of fall or autumn? For me, that's pretty easy. That would have to be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I don't have the physical book with me. I originally read it when I checked it out from the library and haven't gotten a copy of my own yet, but if you've read it, you know it is just, the atmosphere in that book is so fall. There's this one portion in the book that I'm specifically thinking of where the author describes the weather and the leaves and all of that, and it's just so fall, and it takes place at a university, which back to school always makes me think of fall, and that whole book is just fall-esque. I mean, the clothing, what they're eating and drinking and doing, and the academia side of things. It's just, every time I think of that book, I think fall immediately. Question number 2 is, what is your favorite autumnal book cover? This, I think, would have to be Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. That's the one that like popped into my head the fastest. And as you can see there, it has a jack-o'-lantern with a knife through it, and black and orange and green, all of the things that we think of when we think of fall and Halloween. So this book definitely screams fall to me. Question 3, what is your favorite autumnal drink to read with? Confession, I am not a pumpkin spice person. I'm not saying I hate it, I just don't understand the hype. I'd rather have something else. So I guess I'd have to say probably chai tea. It's very spicy and kind of has a fall flavoring to it, but it's not like your typical pumpkin spice. So as far as fall drinks, I'd probably have to say chai tea. Question 4, do you prefer to read late at night or early in the morning? I'd have to say early in the morning because I am not a night owl. I am in bed usually by 9 p.m. I am an early morning person, an early riser. It is my time of quiet, my time to myself for the day, so that's when I get a lot of reading done. Question number 5, it says, what is your favorite spooky read? I honestly can't pick one. If you've been on my channel a while, you know I enjoy horror and thrillers, and there's just too many that I've read. I can't even think of one. Some of my favorite authors, Grady Hendrix, Riley Sager, Stephen King, all kind of in the horror thriller genre, all have spooky vibes, so probably something from them. Question number 6, what is the ultimate comfort read for you? That would have to be Harry Potter. That is like the one book that I have read multiple times, and I can pick up any book in the series and just read it for a comfort read. It's technically YA, so it's super easy to read, and I typically just fly through it. It's always very nostalgic since I read them when I was much younger, and I don't know, that's just my comfort read. Question 7, what is your favorite autumnal reading snack? I've never thought about this before. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, y'all. Autumnal reading snack. I don't know. What qualifies as autumnal reading snack? I like pumpkin bread, but I can't say that I have it on hand all the time. I don't know. Let me know what y'all's autumnal reading snack is. Like, what do you consider an autumnal reading snack? Let me know. Question 8, what is your favorite autumnal candle to burn while reading? Lately, I've really been loving the candle I got by the Gift Gala shop. She is a shop on Etsy, kind of local to Texas, I think. And I've been using a lot of candles that have non-toxic ingredients, and they're not endocrine disruptors. I'm really big on that sort of thing, and she uses very toxin-free wax, and it's a small business which I love to support, and I've really been loving the one that is, I think, titled apple butter something. I can't think of the name of it. It's in my kitchen burning right now, but I can't think of the name of it. But if you're interested, check out her shop. That is the Gift Gala shop on Etsy. Question 9, when you're not reading, what's your favorite autumnal activity? I'm pretty outdoorsy, so if I can get outside and enjoy the really nice fall weather, if Texas would hurry up and get there, it's 101 today. Not kidding. Despite my sweater, it's 101 outside. The sweater is just for, you know, the fall vibes in this video, but it is horribly hot outside. But when it does get nice later in the fall, I do enjoy the weather. I do enjoy going outside. I enjoy going to local football games. We have a really good high school football team here, so I enjoy, you know, football and making chili and sitting by a campfire, walking outside, all those sorts of things. And question 10, what is on your fall reading list? So we are going to jump into, I think I picked maybe 9 or 10 books that I still really want to get to the fall season. Not necessarily just October, but hopefully I can get all these done in October. But if not, November too. Fall goes all the way to, I think, after Christmas, which is kind of strange. You don't think about Christmas being in the fall, but it is technically. So these are the books that I hope to get to in the fall. Definitely not all of them that I hope to get to, but these are the most autumnal fall feeling, I guess. They have those vibes. They have the Halloween, the fall, that kind of thing. But before I do, I'm definitely taking off this sweater because, like I said, we just had the lights flicker. Did y'all see that? Creepy. Okay, anyway, I'm definitely taking off this sweater because, like I said, it's 101 in Texas, and I'm sorry, y'all. I tried to keep it on for the sake of this video, but I'm dying, and I'm pregnant, and I'm hot, so off it goes. Okay, so let's dive into the books. I'm not going to give super long synopses for all of these, or this video would be a bazillion years long, so they'll kind of be quick, but you'll get the idea. First up, I've kind of already mentioned it, is Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. I actually have not read this yet, but it is, I think, a middle grade book. It would have to be, right? It's pretty small, pretty quick, and it might be cheesy, I don't know. It seems like it has something to do with like kids and Brenda and Haley and their cousins, and they're fighting because one of them keeps stealing the other one's boyfriends, and so then they decide to like plan a perfect murder, something to go along with their Halloween party. And it says, well, not that they're really gonna kill anybody, it's just a joke, right? So kind of cheesy, kind of juvenile, but I don't care. There's a giant jack-o'-lantern on the front with a knife through it, and it's about Halloween. So if you know me, which if you don't, I love Halloween, that's you know, you'll learn. I'm looking forward to this one. Looks pretty good. This next book is one that was my book of the month pick for October of last year, and I never got around to reading it, so I'm really hoping that I can get to it this fall, and that is Thistlefoot by Genna Rose Nethercott. I hope I'm saying that right. I'll admit I don't know a ton about this, but it has to do with old Jewish folklore and someone named Baba Yaga. Maybe if you are Jewish or know a lot about Jewish heritage and folklore, you'll know what Thistlefoot and Baba Yaga is. I really don't, but it looks creepy. There's like a house on chicken legs, and it looks creepy, looks menacing. Looks very fall-esque, very Halloween-esque, so I'm kind of excited to dive into this one sight unseen and see what I think of it. These next three I think I already mentioned in my September TBR, and since it's almost the end of September, I don't think I'm going to get to all of them, so I'm putting them in my fall TBR to try to make sure that I get to them at some point this season. And one of those is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Again, won't go into too much depth because I already talked about the synopsis in my last video, and I think Frankenstein is kind of self-explanatory. Everyone's at least heard of Dr. Frankenstein and the monster, the iconic monster that you see around Halloween this time of year with the green face and the square head and the screws coming out the side of his head. Everybody knows that, right? Well, I'm anxious to actually read the classic story of Dr. Frankenstein and see what I think of it and if it's any good. Next up is Pet Sematary by Stephen King, another one that I've been trying to get to forever. It sounds fantastic. Basically what I know is that there's this new family, and I think one of them's a doctor, and they move to this new town, and they move into this house that's really close to this pet cemetery. And I think a bunch of like really sinister, creepy things start happening related to this pet cemetery. And I've heard that it's kind of an exploration on death and grief and those kinds of topics. So I'm excited to read it. Apparently there's a blurb on the inside that says something about Stephen King was almost unwilling to finish writing this book because it scared him so badly. I don't know how you can be scared by your own writing, but apparently this book did that for him. So I am really anxious to get to it. And another one that I've mentioned in my September TBR is Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar, or Cesar. Don't really know how he says that. Again, won't give you too long of a synopsis. I'm hoping to get to this one. It should probably be the next book I read. I'm finishing up another one from my September TBR, but this will probably be next. Basically, all I know is it's kind of like Footloose. You've got this town where the adults and the teenagers are at odds about something. I guess, you know, typically teenagers are wanting to modernize and do things differently, and adults want everything to stay the same, and then somehow there's this like murderous clown that gets thrown into the mix. That's all I know, but that's all I really need to know. When I think Halloween, murderous clowns, that it's definitely in there. So I'm anxious to get to this one because what is more fall than clowns, Halloween, cornfields, horror? You know, you get the drift. Okay, next up, another book that I hope to get to this fall season is Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. This is the author that wrote Cackle, which I read in September and I'll be doing a book review on later, and I loved Cackle, so I'm very excited to get to Such Sharp Teeth. All I know is it is her take on a werewolf story. That's all I know. I really don't know a ton more than that. I hope that it's just as good as Cackle. Cackle was very, you know what? No, I'll save that for my review. I won't go into too much detail about Cackle, but I'm excited to get to her take on a werewolf story. I don't get to read many werewolf stories. I feel like society really enjoys vampires and things like that. You don't hear a lot about werewolves. Apparently your main character is named Rory. She's having to move back to her hometown and there's bad memories there for her. She has a twin sister, Scarlett, who's pregnant and kind of estranged from the baby's father. She needs support, so that's kind of why Rory's going back to her hometown to help support her sister. Then she hits a large animal with her car. She gets out to investigate, see what the damage is, and she gets attacked. She survives, but all of a sudden she starts changing. She's unnaturally strong. She has an aversion to silver. The moon is very enticing. So you can kind of guess. The moon, unnaturally strong, aversion to silver. You can kind of see where this is going. Kind of sounds like she might be turning into a werewolf. I don't know. Guess we'll see, but it's definitely on my list for this season. This next book was actually my book of the month pick for August of this year, and I never got around to reading it, and that is Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. This one, I think she's the same author who wrote Mexican Gothic, I want to say, and I never read that one, but everyone seemed to really like it, so hopefully I'll really like this one as well. It is, as you might expect, a vampire story, and I think it takes place in the 1800s, I believe around the mid-1800s, when the United States invaded Mexico, and I don't know how a vampire is playing into that story. I don't know how she's gonna pull off like historical fiction with vampires, but I mean, it's definitely got my attention. Definitely sounds like something I would enjoy, so hopefully I enjoy this one. And these last two books, my God, if I do not get to these books this season, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I have listed them in so many TBRs and have not gotten to them. If you've been on my channel a bit, this probably is no surprise to you, but it is Conjuring the Witch and the Spite House. How long have I been trying to get to these books? Too long. It's time. They need to get read this season. They're not even long. Look. Easy. Like, this one's practically a novella. Like, why? Why has it taken me so long? I don't know. But, as you might expect, this one's a creepy witch story in like a small town village. That's all I really know. And this one is a haunted house story that takes place in Texas, and since I live in Texas, that got my attention. But been trying to get to these all year, haven't done it yet, so that is why they are on my fall TBR. I lied. There is one more book I really would like to get to. Granted, I'm probably going to get to a lot of books this season, not just these, but there was also one on my radar called All Hallows. I don't have it yet, I don't own it, but I've heard good things about it, and I'm picturing the cover in my head. It's got like a creepy jack-o'-lantern looking face, and it's like red and black and has a candle flame somewhere. I'll probably put it up here on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about, and I don't know what it's about, but it's gonna be pretty much a cover buy for me because that's all I really know. It looks like a cool jack-o'-lantern. It's called All Hallows, so I'm imagining it has something to do with All Hallows Eve, aka Halloween. So yeah, I'm hoping to pick that one up as well this fall. Well, I enjoyed catching up with y'all and sharing some questions about fall and my fall book tag, and sharing some of the books that I hope to get to this season. Definitely not an exhaustive list, but ones that are kind of high on my priority list as far as the fall season reading list goes. What books are you still trying to get to this fall? I know a lot of us have already started reading for the fall. Most of us think of September 1st as being fall, but with the fall equinox being September 23rd, I believe, I felt this was a good time to do this video. It is the official start of fall, even though it's 101 here. I'm gonna keep complaining about that until the temperature drops. Sorry, it's a Texan problem. It's what we do, we complain about the heat. So, hope you're cooler wherever you are. Hope you have a lot of fall books to escape the heat if it is not cool where you are. Hope you have fall books to escape to in general, and I hope you have a fantastic fall season. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye y'all.